Welcome to the Raw and Real of Real Estate podcast, powered by LPT Realty, Real Estate Reimagined, with your host, the one and only Betsy Tinnervin. On this podcast, we bring you people who share their personal journeys in life, business, and of course, real estate. Get motivated, inspired, and priceless information from entrepreneurs, community leaders, and realtors who are thriving. Now let's get raw and real. Here's Betsy.
Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, Betsy Tinnervin, with the Tampa Bay Investments team. We are so excited to be here today. It's always amazing for me to get to know groups of people and just be a catalyst and connector in the community. To all of our listeners out there today, you have no idea how much we appreciate you, the calls, the texts, the emails, LPT that powers and sponsors this show, and our wonderful CEO Robert Palmer makes all of this possible for us to bring you the raw and real of real estate, life, business, entrepreneurship in the Tampa Bay community. And I have some phenomenal guests today. Two people that I've gotten to know pretty well within our LPT community. Just a powerhouse couple, super empowering, supportive of all other agents. They actually were featured on a panel this weekend. Miss Jim and Shar Kanech. How are you guys doing, guys?
Well, we're wonderful. So happy to be here.
Great.
I'm so glad that you guys are with us today. It's crazy how you spend, 2 days with people on a long-term basis, and you hear these stories and you just really get to know people.
That was the most exciting 2 days. We loved it all the way around. Like you said, getting to know people from different areas and different ideas on the way they run their teams and the way they run their real estate network. It was, like you said, empowering. It was great. We were really happy to be there.
I think it's really cool. I know, Jim, you've really stepped up within the LPT community in Tampa, and we really appreciate you. A lot of people have it, very misconstrued with, being a facilitator of a rally, which when you're a facilitator of a rally, you can't even recruit. So you have kind of stepped into this role of doing the actual LPT presentation for people in the Tampa Bay community. Talk a little bit about why you chose to present and why you believe in LPT.
Well, I tell you, first of all, Betsy, I just want to circle back around and say that you're being too modest. We were certainly on a panel, but you actually gave a solo presentation for
I did.
hours.
It was great.
At the mastermind group. And you had dozens and dozens of top producing agents that were just eating out of your hand and listening to every word about how you structure your real estate business and about how professional you are at how you attack, your service. But back to LPT, it is easy to talk about something that you love and that you believe in. It is really just a natural thing for both Shar and myself to talk to other agents about and to talk to people in the community about, because what we have is something that has never existed before. And the way that LPT Realty has been constructed through the genius of Robert Palmer and is being, given to agents as an opportunity for us to give back to the community, deliver better service to our buyers and sellers, and then to also have a part ownership in something that is growing across the country. It's easy to talk about. And my enthusiasm carries me through, if nothing else.
Well, I think that both of your personalities, that's a very humbling comment, that you made about me. I think that the coolest part for me about the mastermind and what LPT has done for me, obviously I got a little emotional, Shar, at the end of my presentation.
You got me going too.
Yeah, I literally have spoken, hundreds of times, and I've never got that emotional at the end. But I think that what it's done for me is helped me find my purpose in real estate. And so I think even you jumping in and making that, comment, Jim, you two were showcased in really how authentic you are as a couple, as a team, and what you're trying to do. And so I think you stepping up, doing this presentation not only shows how enthusiastic and how much you believe in LPT, but it's not even self-benefiting to do that. You're literally just sharing wealth and knowledge because you want to. So I enjoyed watching you guys on the panel. The other thing I want to, talk about a little bit that we'll dive deeper in later in the show is what it's like to work together as a couple. And I'm going to turn to Shar, Jim. Sorry about this. But I worked for my dad, for 9-10 years. And it's really hard when you're family, right? But I can only imagine, Shar, what that's like when you are a husband and wife team. So just tell me a little bit about how that started.
Well, we were both in real estate with two kind of competing companies. We were with Keller Williams, and Jim was with RE/MAX. And we decided pretty quickly in our relationship that didn't work. So I came over to RE/MAX. And honestly, we really do get along super well in business. We like to do all the same things, but I really personally feel, because I've done real estate for 30 years and I did it for about 15 without a partner, that you really have to have a partner of some sort. That is crucial to make everything work, in my opinion. We always tell people when we go on listing presentations that you get 2 for 1. I typically work with buyers. Jim always works with the listing part of it.
I love that.
And that it is, except for we have power tools now, and it makes me want to do it more. So, and that was part of my issue with listing presentations, is I did not feel equipped. And I don't think there's anybody that can possibly feel ill-equipped with the listing package that we have. So honestly, we really, really work well together. Lines of communication have to stay, open, and you have to, we're good because we're opposite. So the things I like to do in real estate, Jim doesn't really like to do. If we get a hand holder, I'm going to be with them, I promise you. So that's my thing. And honestly, LPT has allowed us to do a lot more mentorships and trainings, and that's really what we really, really love to do.
Did you guys mention on the panel that you were with other people prior to being with each other? Or you guys have been married for a long time?
Yeah, no, 12 years.
12 years.
We've been together 12 years.
Oh, you've been together 12 years. Okay. So you must have mentioned on the panel that you were with other brokerages and then
Correct.
You kind of merged. Okay.
Correct.
So I think that's interesting just to hear how you guys have kind of collaborated. I love using the term started from the bottom, now we're here. I think that it really showed on the panel. When you're put on a panel, Robert spoke about this, you don't have preparation. It's not a commercial. You don't know what they're going to ask you. And I think that, just humbly speaking to both of you, you're all just being authentic showed as a couple and how much you like each other. The picture of the hats, cocked to the side, that is like viral.
Honestly, the green room was so much fun. And in the green room, first of all, we didn't know we were going to be on a panel. And in the green room, we got done picking the panels and everybody said, "Can we practice?" He goes, "No, you can't practice. You're not even going to know what the questions are." And there were a couple of people in the room that were really nervous about talking in front of people. We're really not nervous about talking in front of people. However, the poor girl beside me, she was trembling the whole time, and we just had a ball with it. We had an absolute blast.
I absolutely loved it. I really loved all of that. We're definitely going to circle back. So do not miss content in our next segment. We're going to circle back with Jim and Shar just about prior brokerages, changes they've made, really talking about team structure. And then we also are going to dive in segment 2 with Mr. Ben Lights. How are you, Mr. Ben?
I'm good, Betsy. How are you?
And Ben is with Magazine Law Group, correct?
That's right.
He is property law insurance, which we thought was super fitting for everyone out there in Tampa to hear what he does. So do not miss the next segment of content. I want to throw this out there, Mr. Jim. If anyone out there is looking to join LPT, talk to you guys about teams, especially other husband and wife teams that may need some structure, how could they contact you and Ms. Shar?
Well, we are not shy about advertising our cell phone numbers because we just want to be accessible. So if you want to reach either me or Shar, just call Shar on her cell phone. The number is 813-892-5059. And you can get a hold of us right away anytime.
So all the listeners out there today, we're really going to dive deep on some property insurance law. We know there's a lot of people out there with insurance claims from the hurricane, whether you're an investor, a buyer, a seller, a current homeowner that is going through all of that riffraff. Segment 2 is going to be content you don't want to miss. And everyone out there thinking about building a real estate team or is currently just not able to scale, we are going to dive deep with myself, Jim, and Shar, talking about teams, talking about what we have to offer, Whether you're interested in LPT or not, this is going to be a great listen. We appreciate all of our listeners out there. We hope everyone has downloaded the iHeartRadio app. We want you to pop in those earbuds. Whether you're supposed to be working, doing laundry at home, enjoying your weekend, please listen. We love also to hear the feedback. If you want to have feedback about our show or you want to be on our show as a community member or leader, my cell phone number is 813-609-0229. We would love to have you. Again, we want to also reach out to everyone down in South Florida. We know that big catastrophes happen in the world and then you sometimes seem to get forgotten about. Tampa Bay is here with you. We hear you. We love you. Port Charlotte, Cape Coral, Fort Myers, we see you rebuilding and we are praying for you and giving you strength and power. We're going to go ahead and pay some bills. Do not miss the next segment of content, diving deep on property insurance law and building a real estate team. We're going to pay some bills and we will catch you after the break.
Have the best comp plans ever and stock and revenue share, but if we're not closing real estate transactions, all of that is worthless because ultimately everything starts with a real estate transaction, which starts with a consumer. And so we wanted to arm our agents with the absolute best technology and best marketing tools to do more real estate. And that's, again, I think a big differentiator. I think very few brokerages really sit down and say, how do we provide tools to make sure that our agents can be more productive, sell more real estate, win more listings, win at more listing appointments, help more buyers find that home, and we're very focused on that. And so while we have the best comp plans and the best ways for agents to generate wealth and earn, we also have the best tools, and more importantly, I would say have the best tools to help you be successful in real estate.
Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, Betsy Tinervin, and today is just a beautiful day in Tampa. We love all of our listeners out there. We just got done speaking to Jim and Shar Kanech. They're a husband and wife team with LPT Realty. We're going to talk about all things real estate teams with them today. We are now switching over to Mr. Ben Light. He is with the Magazine Law Group. How are you today, Ben?
I'm good, Betsy. Thanks for having me on.
I think it's so crazy how you even circled around to getting on the show. We obviously have staff that manages the show. We try to have agents with a member of the community that features services that either pertain to real estate or better Tampa Bay as a whole. And it's funny because I had someone else on my show who then contacted you. You contacted my staff. And even when we started today, I said, so, hey, Ben, how did you get on the show? And you're like, oh, I know so-and-so. So just being a catalyst and connector in our community is what I love about LPT. And I think that Jim and Shar do a great job of that as well. So tell me a little bit about property insurance law.
Sure. Well, I mean, I love insurance and I know it can get a little boring. So I'm going to try to keep it a little more timely and present for you guys. We try to make people whole. If you lose some of your property or your ability to use it through the storm and you have coverage, you're going to make a claim. And those claims are now moving through the process slowly. And our phone is ringing off the hook because people are in trouble and they don't know what to do. There's obviously a lot of press out there about whether it's good to hire an attorney or a public adjuster and watch out for these roofers. We all know the property insurance market has been in flux and somewhat of a state of crisis, but that shouldn't change how an individual homeowner goes after fixing their property and having themselves made whole again. And right now, the number one issue that we're dealing with is the FEMA 50% rule. People don't understand it. And essentially what it means to them is they're going to have to knock their house down, raise it, 5, 10, 20 feet in some places, and no one has mentioned this to them. And by the time they get the first checks from the insurance company, it's almost too late. They're
Ben, let's tell the listeners out there, because I thought, well, I buy a house and I get property insurance and I have this huge payment. And obviously we know in the state of Florida, insurance is super expensive. And then I should just, if something happens and it is counted under what my policy includes, I should just file a claim, right?
Yeah, it should just be a perfect world and everything's going to be sunshine and roses, but it doesn't work that way. It's
not, Ben?
No. There's more insurance-related lawyers in Florida than any other kind of lawyer because there's always a fight. I mean, look at it this way. If you have a $500,000 claim and the insurance company can make it worth $100,000 and you can make it worth $500,000, you're not going to be agreeing on much else. So there comes a time when you're probably going to need an attorney or another professional to help you through this process. And, we're here to do that. We're in Clearwater. We also have offices in Spring Hill, and we have many contractors that we work with that are right now down in the hurricane zone. So if you need,
What areas do you cover, Ben?
I mean, we're all the way down from St. James City on Pine Island, all the way up through southern Sarasota County has a lot of claims. Some of the older homes in the Northport area are really struggling right now. And, you know, the way a hurricane works typically with insurance is if you're right in the eye wall, you're going to get a lot of attention. The company's going to be there. They're going to take care of you. But the further you go out from that, and in areas where some of the roofs are fine because they're newer, other ones are ripped off, those people aren't getting a lot of attention. And if they,
I got to tell you something, man. So this happened to me. We put a new roof on a sixplex 2 weeks before the hurricane. The roof only cost me like $11,600. And then the hurricane happened. A tree went through the roof. I mean, like entirely through. Like it looked like Jurassic Park where those like big vines are coming through like the ceiling and you walk in, you're like, whoa. And the deductible, because it's 5%, is $17,500. So here, the deductible for the new roof, the entire roof that I paid for, is more than what the roof cost me. And so I really want to walk through. I'll use Jim as a homeowner. Like Jim, you work with homeowners, right? So we, as full service agents, we encourage them. We, get them under contract. We get a couple insurance quotes. So Jim is your homeowner, Ben.
Hi, Jim.
Hey, Ben.
I'm sorry about what happened to you.
And so Ben, basically, Jim, you have a policy. And hurricanes are kind of far for in between. So let's just use like a flood situation. Your house floods. What happens if Jim contacts you? Like, what is the initial process?
My initial process with every client is make the claim yourself. Keep me apprised of what's going on. The second we hit a bump in the road, you probably should engage me. But some people are out there, and one of the differences about us is we don't want to take any portion of that first undisputed payment that an insurance company has to make.
So is there a fee up front?
There is none. There's never a fee. There's never
no fees.
No. And
so Jim calls you up. Hey, Ben, I got a claim. Jim, you call him up. What do you say to him, Jim?
Ben, help. I'm not getting the results from my insurance company that I wanted.
Jim, I'm glad to talk to you, Jim. I think if I understand it right, you've reported your claim. Has the company come out to inspect your property?
Yes, they did send an adjuster out already.
And since then, just crickets?
That is true. Nothing so far.
Well, here's what I think you should do. I think you should probably sign up with us. I can tell you everything about what we do in detail, maybe not right now. But what we would do for you is help you through that first stage of your insurance claim, because the insurance company is bound to make a payment to you if they find coverage.
And so how does Jim compensate you then?
Jim would only compensate me if he's not happy with that first payment and there's more that we feel hasn't been adjusted or paid for. Anytime we increase the amount of that first payment, we would take a small percentage if we don't have to sue. If we sue, there's a whole different arrangement that works out because there's fee shifting.
Correct.
So the insurance company, essentially, if we win, has to pay our fee. So our goal is to not take any money from a client so they could fix their house. We want them to say that Magazine Law, Ben Light did a great job. My house is completely repaired, and I never had to pay him a penny. That's my goal in every case. Does it always work out like that? Well, no. Because some cases are.
Well, you got to make a living, right, Ben?
Absolutely.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? You are an attorney. Like, we can't have our attorney, driving around in like a Pinto. We got to have our attorney covered. But Shar, how great is it, though, that what we can do with LPT is create our own ecosystems, and we can have someone like Ben, even if we sell someone a property, we can include in our little closing package for our clients, like, hey, we got you 3 insurance quotes, but here, just in case you get in trouble, you have someone like Ben Light.
Absolutely, Betsy. We always pride ourselves in having a network, not just a network of realtors, but we consider our lenders, our insurance people, our inspectors, they're all part of our network, and they are branded. They're our name. I mean, if we
I know we get blamed, right, Shar?
Oh, absolutely.
The realtor that keeps all the glue together. It was your fault. It was your fault.
Absolutely. Oh, there's a couple things I will not do. I have learned, but yes, I never recommend anybody to any of my buyers or sellers that I don't trust 100%. Like you said, are there mistakes? Are there things that happen? Of course there are. However, it's that important to me. I don't want it coming back to me because it does. I mean, if the inspection goes bad, guess whose fault it is? So yeah, that's and getting back to the network, it's really eye-opening how, we were with big companies before, then we were with another 3-letter company. When we joined LPT, it's amazing how many of my vendors have contacted us. that
Oh,
we
for sure.
haven't reached out to. So that network in itself is becoming bigger
Powerful.
and powerful. Absolutely.
I think it's special too, Ben, to make relationships with people. And I know we also kind of discussed that on the break, but I think it's important. I don't think anyone prepares for a hurricane. So at the end of the day, for us in Florida that sell real estate here, to include you in our ecosystem and say to our clients, hey, we have somebody if you get in trouble. Also just flooding. I mean, it happens. Like any houses, that we sell in South Tampa, I mean, we do get floods. We do get water. I think to have someone on our team, Jim, if anyone out there is listening and they want to work with a top team in Tampa that has an ecosystem built out, could you please give your phone number?
I'll be happy to. Always try to reach us in our cell phone number. That number is area code 813-892-5059. Feel free to text. Feel free to leave a message. If we don't pick up right away, we will get back to you.
And Mr. Ben Light, I bet you there are people itching to hear how they can get in contact with you as far as property insurance is concerned. Could you please give them your phone number?
Yes, it is 727-499-9900. We are in Clearwater, and we will answer that phone 24 hours a day.
I love all the collaboration that happens on these shows. You will not want to miss the information we are going to provide next, diving deep with all three people just on entrepreneurship, how they've kind of built out their businesses. So anyone out there, whether you're in real estate, you're a small business owner, or maybe even you're working in a corporate company that just needs change, we're going to talk about finding your purpose in whatever you're doing, merging your passion with what you do. LPT provides us these resources. We cannot thank you enough. Our CEO, Robert Palmer, all the listeners out there, you keep this show going and make it special. Of course, as always, I am super blessed to have Jim Knecht, Jim, I'm going to botch your name, and Shar, as well as Ben Light, Property Insurance, on the show today. Download that iHeartRadio app, pop in your earbuds. You will not want to miss the information coming up next. We're going to pay some bills, and we will catch you after the break.
The biggest win, I think, with the dual path and having these two models is that now we become a brokerage for everyone. No matter where you are in your real estate career or what your goals are today, maybe today you're not interested in recruiting or having a team, but then one day you wake up and you are. Well, if you're at the wrong brokerage to do that, you're locked in. Where in our model, we're not holding anyone hostage. We're not tying anyone in. You can move between the different comp plans and have that success and really achieve whatever your definition of success is under one brokerage platform, being LPT.
Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host this weekend. All the listeners, you can't seem to get rid of me. My name is Betsy Tinervin. I'm with the Tampa Bay Investment Team, and we bring the raw and real of real estate to you. We talk about life, entrepreneurship, and all things Tampa Bay. We appreciate you listening this weekend. I have Jim and Shar Knecht here. They are a powerhouse Tampa Bay real estate team with LPT Realty. I have Ben Light, who is talking all things property insurance. For anyone out there that gets into trouble with their insurance company, they are the Magazine Law Group. They are here to assist you. And I cannot believe, Ben, that you guys literally offer free services to find out if someone even needs you.
Well, right. Insurance is supposed to work. You're not supposed to need an attorney just to make an insurance claim. And we like to give it a chance to work. And oftentimes it doesn't work. That's why I make a living. So I'm not worried about looking for work. There'll be enough mistakes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. And of course, Jim and Shar, you guys also, buyers forget that they get a real estate agent for free. So you guys are out there empowering people to grow teams, giving free consultations for that. You're giving services to people, all things real estate. So I want to dive deep with everyone here just on the whole concept, like started from the bottom. Now we're here because from what I heard, Ben, you came from New Jersey and you are starting over in Florida.
I did. I came here and I had to take the bar. Thank you, Florida. One of the only states that still makes you take a bar exam, no matter how many years you've been doing it, didn't matter. I represented the insurance companies for a couple of years at a big firm in Tampa, and now I'm on my own with Jim, and we started this before Hurricane Ian with the idea that I was going to slowly build a property practice, knowing, of course, there will be another hurricane someday, but then here's Ian. So we're up and running, and we have a new department, and it's going fantastically, and To your point of networking, I've had from day one in my line of work, number one are contractors. A good contractor who can take care of good clients and make the repair come out right is invaluable on a lot of levels for me. Just getting an idea of what the actual price is going to be for real in the marketplace, not insurance companies' computer-generated estimate of the number, and then knowing the work will get done or may get done to that person. So I've been building that network.
What did it feel like when you started over? And then I also want to circle back really quick too on the comment that you made. Like, we thought there would be a hurricane. We started over and then we had this kind of catastrophe. I think people always look at breakdowns and they don't see that there's going to be a breakthrough. So something also that did happen out of Hurricane Ian, and you're seeing it happen in Fort Myers, is there's a lot of jobs being produced. There's a lot of jobs being produced, a lot of growth happening. So go back to you started over. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, it was very hard. It wasn't something I ever planned on doing. And, the details, I'm not going to tell you them all. I work with my wife as well, back to your point earlier, and Jim Magazine's wife. We're a family business also. So it's a long story. There's been a lot of struggle. We always wanted to be in Florida. So when it came time and an opportunity arose to reset life, like, we did it here because we didn't want to go back and just end up miserable again, even if we were successful.
I came from Illinois, man. I know New Jersey and New York and Illinois, man. My friends are freezing right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, I know I put a sweatshirt on with 60 degrees out here, but I have no desire. I think that's amazing. I think that I want to tell all the listeners that a lot of people see social media, they see the hype, they see success. They don't see the struggle, and they don't know where people were rooted and started. And I think Jim and Shar, you both can comment as well. Like, I think that everyone sees how great things are, but we took risk in believing. Robert started over. So he had a billionaire business with RP funding. He was very successful with listing power tools. And during a recession again, he has started over, believed in us, and then we have now reciprocated and believed in him. So Jim, in making the switch, knowing that you were going to have to rebrand and start over, what was the thought process?
Well, I've got to tell you, the thought process for us is a rebirth is a renaissance opportunity for anybody. And I grew up on the coast of Texas, and going back to the hurricane analogy, when I was very young, my family lost a home to a hurricane. And a lot of the coastal area on that part of Texas was just completely wiped away. And it created an opportunity. Of course, it created hardship and tragedy for those people that suffered. But in the long run, it created an opportunity for rebirth of that entire area. Ended up being an economic bonanza. And as painful as it is for those folks down south of us, and we have all the sympathy in the world for them, they will survive and they will grow. For Shar and myself, going to LPT Realty, I've got to be honest with you, it was an easy decision. And the opportunity to start basically bringing the LPT message to using the tools that Robert Palmer has given us to actually give better and deeper and wider service to our buyers and to our sellers. It just was a no-brainer. So it was an easy decision.
I love the word rebirth, though. Like, I think that what people fail to understand is when you have a chance to start with a clean slate, you have a blank canvas. There is no paint, there is no marker, there is no writing. So you have this blank canvas. But I also think, Shar, like, it is scary. When any of us start over, there is like fear. And what I think that I heard you and Jim say on the panel is a lot of the attraction is the culture. And talk to people out there that are listening in any situation in business, just why being authentic and having culture is important when you do start over. So now you have this foundation that you can build, because I think people that want to maybe start a team or agents out there that don't have direction, or any business owner, why is it important? Even to break through the fear.
It's so important. You're absolutely right. And many companies out there do not give you the support that you need. I have to say that some of our recruits were so easy because they came to me and they said, I have no help. I need things. And some of these agents have been around for a long time. We're not just talking brand new agents. There are a lot of agents that just, they get their license, they go out, they start selling a few houses, and they never go back. They never go back to the basics. They don't have the structure that some of us got lucky enough at the beginning that took our classes and that got with good real estate brokerages. What's happening now with LPT, it's mind-boggling, honestly. We love, like I said, love to mentor, love to train. And Robert has given us a lot of things that we were paying for before and that we had to teach somebody, this is what you need to do. It really has been the best decision we've ever made. And we've only been with LPT for 3 short months, but it's been absolutely the best decision we ever made.
I think, Ben, a good thing for the listeners to hear is like if someone is thinking about like starting over, what was your drive with Magazine Law? You relocated to a whole new state, and then like what was your drive? Like give them some words of like advice of like, okay, if you're jumping into a new career, if you're thinking of building a team, if you're thinking of changing structure, like how do they find that drive, and like what is a good piece of advice you could give them?
A word you just said, you really do need to think about it. I started a business and ran a successful firm in New Jersey for about 12 years, and honestly, a lot of it was luck. I met people and things just kind of went a certain way. This time we have it planned out. We know who we want to network with and why. We know what it takes to maintain a reputation in the business, which to me is my number one goal. You can work for 20 years on your reputation and ruin it in 5 minutes through laziness or just not paying enough attention. So if you think it through, take your time. You will feel panicked because you're not going to become, IBM overnight, but do it the right way and go slow. And I think that'll pay off.
I love that. And I also love the factor that we really are like selfish human beings in the world today. Everything's instant gratification. Google, make a call, Bixby, do whatever, YouTube, find an answer. Where even for me, when I was in high school, like I know I'm probably younger than everyone, but I didn't have a cell phone. So like when I was riding my bike, I had to have a thought process and I had to problem solve. I didn't have Google. I couldn't call my mom right away. I had to figure out how to air up my tire. And I think the world has become lazy and we become reliant on this instant gratification. So I love the advice that you gave people of having patience. I love what you're saying, Shar, of like getting around the right culture. If anyone is looking to connect with you, Mr. Ben, could you give them your phone number with Magazine Law Group on property insurance law?
Yes, thank you. It's 727-499-9900.
And Shar, throw out those digits, not to go on a date because Jim is here and he is her partner, but just give those digits if someone's interested in connecting with you and LPT Realty.
I will. And a big shout out over there. We love our Jersey people. So Jersey, New York, Illinois, we have had a lot of people relocate. Love working with people from out of state. Our number is 813-892-5059.
We are so happy that you guys are listening with us today. We love empowering our business owners in Tampa Bay. We are technically right now the 3rd metro market in the country. We are appreciating at rapid rates. I believe I looked up 2 weeks ago. We are at 24.47% appreciation, which again was prior to the seller's market as well. We appreciate everyone out there listening. You are not going to want to miss the final information today. We are going to come at you with more raw and real of business ownership and team building. We're going to pay some bills and we will catch you after the break. Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, Betsy Tinervin with the Tampa Bay Investments team. And I have 3 amazing people here today, Jim and Shar Kanech, Ben Light. Jim and Shar with LPT Realty. They have been in this industry over 30 years. They have seen the ups and downs, twists and turns, and Mr. Ben Light has relocated, rebuilt his Magazine Law Group in Florida, coming from New Jersey. And so we are going to wrap up today with some really great information just on how you can pivot and turn and adapt to change. As everyone knows, you have to fight inflation with inflation. We are in a typical situation that people don't want to use the evil word of recession. However, when you're going to buy a gallon of milk and it's now $5, that's a wake-up call. You know, I was at the gas pump yesterday, and I drive a Mercedes, and it's not like a super flashy car, but I do use premium gas. Normally, I can stop at like $50, and I was putting gas in my car, and the little lever is, of course, broken, so I have to hold it. So I'm guesstimating on how much gas to put in my car, so I stop at like $52, and I get in my car, and I'm like at 3/4 of a tank.
Yeah.
And I'm like, love this. So I want to talk to the three of you. All of you have way more experience and wisdom than I do. Everyone knows that listens to my coaching and training, experience comes with time on earth. And so you earn your time on earth by gaining gray hairs and having longevity. So I want to dive deep with you guys. Let's start with you, Mr. Jim. I know Robert talked about things at the mastermind on how people kind of sat back and waited during the recessions. They cut staff. They did, different things to kind of like live frugal, but they also really didn't do anything to boost their business. And he talked about kind of being that slingshot. He was ramping up the last time. So when the boom happens, he's ready. What are you and Shar doing to be ready for that boom? And what can you tell the other listeners to do during this time to be ready to launch their businesses?
Well, again, like you pointed out, Char and I have been in this business each for more than 20 years. I was originally licensed in Illinois, by the way, as a commercial broker for a long time. And so I've been through a lot of market cycles. And as Robert Palmer pointed out, every market cycle has an up, a down, and then a back up again. And we are in the probably tipping into a downward cycle right now. And his phrase was that people start heading for the exits. People are going to be leaving the industry. There are companies that are cutting back on staff, cutting back on marketing, cutting back on agent support, changing commission splits. And LPT is doing the exact opposite of all of that. We're adding staff. We're adding more marketing. We're adding more agent support. We're adding more tools. We're growing across the country. And the pace at which we're attracting agents to our company is faster than any multi-state brokerage in the history of real estate. It is phenomenal, and we are thrilled to be a part of it.
I love that. I think that's awesome. I think that, again, there's risk in everything that we do, and people, even in the classes that I teach, I talk about you're an entrepreneur. Realtors are 1099 employees. We are business owners. So Shar, what are your thoughts for anybody that's looking to thrive? Maybe right now they are fearful. We're talking about the realities and being raw and real. People are scared. Business owners are cutting back. They're concerned, and they're not out there, doubling down because they're like, hey, what if I don't make that next commission next month? What if interest rates spike again? What is your personal thought process as a team leader?
Well, you're absolutely right, Betsy. And we always say you have to be a chameleon in real estate. We've been through so many different kind of markets. In the boom of 2006-07, I knew when my mailman was flipping properties that something really was going wrong there. And then the market fell out of bed. And what did we do? We learned how to do short sales. A lot of agents that we knew kept saying, I'll never do a short sale. And a lot of those agents aren't around anymore. You have to get your finger on the pulse. Again, figure out where the market, where it is. I mean, the investors are stepping back a little bit. There's still a lot of things going on. You've got to, find your niche and figure out what it is that's important to you and work it.
I think that it's crazy to hear just how much the people that have joined LPT are alike. And what you just said is exactly what I think comes true. When you're niche focused and you're authentic, all the amateurs get weeded out in tough times. So then you shine. And so I think that when we put our heads down in a tough market in any industry and we get really niche focused, we go back to building our systems, we get authentic, we're the winners, man. It's like,
and we're having fun doing it.
Absolutely. And the best thing too is, again, like we talked about, Ben, having that ecosystem of people to have support. So I know that you talked about kind of working with your wife, Ben. So who is the cheerleader and who is like, kind of like the bull in the china shop in your particular company.
You are setting me up for a problem. Until you meet my wife, I'm not answering that question because it'll become obvious to you. We're a good team. We try to stay in our own little fields, like stay in our lane. But my wife runs the business, all the operations, the money, and I handle clients and cases. And it's great. I mean, we couldn't be happier meeting Jim Magazine and his wife Elizabeth are just fantastic people. And I came to work here because my wife was there first for a year. And I would listen to what she was doing, overhear conversation, you know how it goes. And I said, that guy Jim is just amazing. And I've never heard a lawyer or a client say a bad thing about him. Maybe there's a few out there, but I haven't heard it. And I've been in this business for 22 years. That's a pretty rare thing. And he's got a great reputation. And that's what I'm attracted to. I just want to be with good people who want to work hard and, produce a great result.
I think when times are hard, it's just so important. And what I love that you just touched on, Ben, is roles within your company. We all have to have a role and we have to highlight our strengths and we also have to know our weaknesses. And so, Jim, we'll circle back to you. When you and Shar set your roles and your strengths and weaknesses, what does that kind of look like? If you're speaking to any other husband and wife team out there, and I know we'll give out your phone number in a minute, but what does that look like when you set your roles and your strengths and weaknesses as a husband and wife real estate team?
Well, I will just say that I'm much more technically oriented between the two of us.
Char's nodding her head.
Shar is the personality on the team.
Much more is not
and
the word.
I'm the numbers guy in the background. And I'm analytical. I'm a tough negotiator on behalf of my buyers and sellers. Shar is brilliant at really perceiving what home buyers and home sellers want and need in their real estate needs. And then, together we cover all the bases. There are some people that are married to somebody that's very, very much like them. And when it comes to business, we definitely have distinct roles. I'm much more the tech person. I'm much more the technical person. And Shar is much more the personality and the perceptive person. And together, we basically cover almost every possible angle, and we're able to serve everyone's needs that way better.
I love that, Shar. Is that a yes for you or a no?
No, it's definitely a yes. And when he said he's much more the technical person, he is the technical person. I love social media. I'm the social director, although I have to say he likes to go out as much as I do. And yeah, we really do balance each other very well. We're very lucky in that way.
I love that. I when I talk to you, Shar, I just think of this bright light. Like you are just always smiling. You're always so positive. I just love that. If anyone wants to contact Jim and Shar, could you give them your phone number?
I can, Betsy. It's 813-892-5059.
And Mr. Ben, Magazine Law Group, could you give them your phone number? I think it's really important for the listeners to know if you are having an issue with any type of property insurance claim, this is the company to reach out to. It doesn't have to be hurricane related. It can be on any level. Ben, could you give them your phone number?
Yes, it's 727-499-9900.
And to all three of you, what's so crazy is I didn't know, Ben and his wife kind of grew their company together, and then you guys are husband and wife. So I really do believe that people come in your life for a reason or a season, right?
Absolutely.
And even things like today are just kind of magical that happen. You create these relationships and you talk to people about building business and you lift other people up. I think something that was really inspiring to me to see happen at the mastermind with LPT was so many people from all different walks of life, different phases in their careers, in their real estate businesses come together to collaborate and really support each other. I really appreciate you, Ben Light, for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Betsy. I really enjoyed it.
I have your name and stars beside it.
Oh, and Jim and Shar, I just love you guys as a couple. I love what you're doing for LPT. I really encourage anyone out there to reach out to them. They really have a great system and structure. They represent LPT in our community at just a 5-star level. And I mean what I said, Shar. Your personality is just contagious.
Thank you, Betsy.
And
yours is too.
Thank you. And Jim, I think that you are just one of the humble guys. Like you're just a humble guy. Like you're so intelligent, you're so precise, but you're really there to lift people up. And I appreciate you.
Thank you, Betsy.
So as we go into the rest of our weekend, we want to tell all of our listeners, thank you. We appreciate you. The show would not be there without you. Again, this is powered by LPT Realty and our CEO, Robert Palmer. We thank you. We love you. Catch us next weekend. You will not want to miss the information we provide, raw and real of real estate. And again, we're here to build the community in Tampa Bay. Unfortunately, we are signing off, and we will catch you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Raw and Real of Real Estate podcast, powered by LPT Realty, Real Estate Reimagined. We hope this episode motivated and inspired you. And don't forget to rate and review us. Thanks again for listening to the Raw and Real of Real Estate podcast with Betsy Tinervin.